every single race. Basically, Matt managed to finish in 5th place pretty much every single time, whereas Henry picked up 2 wins and a 2nd to clinch the championship.
And Henry as well won all 3 races here in September last year.
Ah, yes, he did indeed. So he's going to be tough to beat here, but if anybody can do it, I've got to think AJ is very strong indeed. Away we go. Henry gets the start, but AJ goes right with him there. Those familiar leathers, and AJ's looking very early into the inside at Paddock Hill Bend, and what a surprise, takes the lead. Right, this is going to be our battle, I think, here, Bradley. Henry's going to go straight back at Druids. Does he know? Can't quite get close enough. Everybody's through Paddock Hill Bend safely. AJ cranks it over through Paddock Hill Bend. He's been doing this for a long, long time. Knows his way around here, local point. Down the hill we come. Any chances there at Graham Hill? Yeah, there's a move there.
Joey landed up the inside of Kai Dickinson.
Okay, good move there from him. That was very definitive. Somebody going wide, losing a few places there as well, but everybody's safely through Graham Hill, which has proved tricky for a couple of people, particularly on the open lap, as AJ now makes his way onto Clearways. He's got Ross right there in the slipstream, desperately trying to find a way past. Is he just going to track him? Is he going to try and break him? Here he comes. He's going to go alongside, go for the outbreak on AJ at Paddock, but AJ's going to be strong. Sure enough, AJ cranks over, sweeps his nose, and down the hill they go. AJ still leading. Who's that in 3rd place at the moment,
Third
mate?
position there, that is Sam Hurst ahead of Harrison Crosby. There was a dead heat across the line, 0.000, and it's Harrison Crosby who now has the advantage over Sam Hurst.
Down the hill they come then, Sam, the Team Valley Racing, great team there. They do so much for other people in the paddock as well as themselves. It's great to see those guys back, and Sam representing the North very well indeed, holding on to a very solid 4th place. He'd love to get that onto the podium. He did that a few times last year. It was really good to see them back here as well, as AJ continues to lead. Over the line last time, AJ came across the line with a gap of 11 thousandths of a second. This time the gap's going to open up just a little bit. It goes out to 0.13 of a second, 48.665, fastest lap of the race to AJ.
Not sure if you were watching on the TSL, anybody at home, but it says that Ross is not out there, but yeah, so I think that may need swapping over, because Henry Ross is definitely there. AJ knows that more than anyone else.
I was going to say, AJ, it's Henry having a look there at the bottom of the hill. He can't quite do it there, but I tell you what, he is not letting AJ escape there.
One thing about this race as well, Keith, is they can't show their cards too early, because it's an 18-lap race, isn't it? So
yeah, double distance. Yeah. It's a long way for the first race of the year, isn't it? So
it is.
These guys are definitely going to be feeling the need for a cold one after this race, that's for sure. 18 laps, long way to keep your concentration around here as we come across the line once again. Henry Ross again pulls out. Is he having a look this time? AJ so strong under the brakes there, though, isn't he? And I think he knows Henry is there. He's pushing on as hard as he can, but Henry goes a little bit quicker this time. A 48.598 for the fastest lap of the race.
Lap record is a 48 flat.
Whoa!
Paul Young from 16 years ago.
Yeah, and we know AJ nearly nicked it a couple of years ago. Was he racing Fenton Seabright, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, and the pair of them were fractions away from every single lap. And we know AJ knows Brands Hatch better than anybody, certainly on a little 2-stroke Yamaha, that's for sure.
Purple in sector 1 for AJ, your race leader on bike number 76. He had a few issues with the setup of that Triumph last year, but it looks as though he's got those setup issues all sorted now, because you don't do 48s around Brands Hatch on a 600 if you aren't feeling 100%.
I don't know, is his rival a little bit quicker? It is indeed. That would give us 48. I think the time could be just about there. It's a 48.505.
I'm keeping an eye on it there.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very close.
48.1 if it was if you put together. I think
absolutely. There. So we are so close to a potential lap record. I think AJ's losing out in the second half of the circuit. Actually, he's very strong with the paddock, very strong down into Graham Hill. But if you're watching through here through Surtees, is Henry a little bit stronger there through the left hand? No, back pretty even Steven there. Up we go to the top. Henry's going for the wider line. I think that's the better line, personally. You see, pulls back a bike length or two.
That's the shaky burn, isn't it?
The shaky burn line. And who's going to argue with shaky burn around? See the drive it's given him onto the straight here, side by side across the line. Separated by a bike length, and surely this time Henry Ross has done it.
48.3.
48.3. so fast. Takes AJ along with him. Now watch AJ going up to the top here. Will AJ fight back at Druids Hill? He can't quite do it there. They've got a back marker in the way. This could compromise the ultimate lap time here. Down the hill we come. The back marker gets passed on each side. AJ having a look. He closes that little bit. Through Graham Hill we go, pretty much even Stevens through there. There's about 3 or 4 bike lanes separating him as they make their way up to Surtees.
Just want a quick mention for the Clubmans there. Will Howarth leads the Clubmans by 1.7 over Donkersley. Then James Lord is 1.7 back as well, who has Paul Coon for close company by a tenth of a second. So it's only around about 3 or 4 seconds covering the top 4 in the Clubmans as well. This is 600 racing.
This is proper 600 racing. Definitely gives us the excuse to get the voice up to fever pitch. Over the line we come there with 6 laps, 1/3 distance into the race. And Henry Ross has now got the biggest gap we've seen of anybody, 3/10 of a second. But I think they were both compromised on that last lap because their lap times are a little bit slower by around about 3 or 4 tenths for each of them. And again, that's not going to get any better as we go through the rest of the field. Down the hill we come then. 3 or 4 bike lengths, there's no great change there. I think AJ's a little bit tighter there. Henry though getting the power fed in very nicely indeed. Up towards 30s we go. We keep it on the split times. Personal best there for Henry Ross. So he's going a little bit quicker. Look at the difference in the lines there. AJ's going tight. Henry's going high. And there we go. That's the advantage. That is where Henry Ross is making the difference. He's taking the classic shaky burn line. I have to say, I've always preferred that line because you get better drive coming off of the hill. And I think that's compromising him just by a fraction of a second. But of course, that's what this game is all about. I'm surprised because AJ being a 2-stroke man, I would have thought he would have gone for the slightly better line. But maybe it doesn't work for him on the 600. Obviously, it works for different people in different ways. Druids Hill. Now, is Henry going to get held up just a little bit here on the exit? AJ surely going to have a look. Can he? No. Gets a gap down within a bike length, though. Nearly gives him the full Freddie Mercury going into the brakes on Graham Hill there. Up we go towards Surtees. 2-3 bike lengths is your gap. This race is far from over, Bradley. One slight slip of these back markers and it'll be all over again. Ross leaves the door wide open. It looks like he's leaving himself vulnerable, but once again he hits the power, keeps it high and wide, powers down the line and makes up those few fractions of a second. Down the front straight we come. Once again we complete yet another lap. We are now, where are we? 8 laps into this race, almost half distance. One more to go for half distance, and these guys are consistently mid-48. That is phenomenal speed, isn't it, Bradley?
Certainly, that's the same kind of lap times we saw in the power bike, so it just goes to show how hard these guys are pushing on. They're heading around Druids down and towards Graham Hill Bend now into the braking zone. Less than a bike length between Henry Ross and AJ as they come on towards the John Cooper Straight in towards Surtees now, and everybody in the top 5 there within that 48-second bracket. Let's have a quick look further down the order there. Looks like a good battle between Sam Hurst and Joey Lambden, bike number 91 and number 3. They're heading around Surtees on towards Clearways now, as here come the race leaders yet again. Yellow wins the first sector for both of our leading 2. Across the line in towards Paddock Hill Bend, and they're in the 49s now, Keith. So half race distance, just holding back ever so slightly, and then I'm sure they'll get a second win towards the end of the race.
It could be a back marker thing, to be perfectly honest. I think they're just losing out fractions here and there to the back markers. But yeah, 49 low for the top 5, 6 there. So everybody just having to cut it off just a little bit. Could be a tyre fatigue thing, could be a rider fatigue thing. Certainly these guys don't look like they're giving up in any time soon. But those back markers are having a little bit to say on the outcome of this race, because 18 laps around here, long way.
Yeah, Joey Lambden, I was watching going in towards Surtees now, is 0.8 of a second behind Sam Hurst now. So the gap opening up between 4th and 5th place. Kai Dickinson 3.9 seconds away, but Matt Pallett is there in 7th position on the new Triumph. So formerly a Kawasaki man, but now on the Triumph is Matt Pallett, bike number 12, ahead of Gareth Cunningham. Michael Mills, bike number 56, and the number 50 machine of Addy Bihal rounding out the top 10. But Howarth has over a 5-second lead now in the Clubmans over the 112 machine of Jake Donkersley, who we saw last year on a ZX4R Kawasaki. So he's made the step from the 400 to the 600.
Mills passed on Cunningham in there for one of the minor places. That's 8th over 9th there. AJ personal best lap there of 48.461. Not quite on the last lap, sorry. So that's not quite as quick as the 48.383 that we've seen from Henry Ross. So Henry wearing that number 1 very proudly indeed, which is going to be right to do, of course. Here he comes over the line. The gap now was 0.2 of a second, is now 1/4 of a second, so it's gone out by 0.05 of a second. And again, the heavy traffic is going to roll to play. AJ very strong at Paddock Hill once again. Up to the top we go. This time they've got 4 or 5 back markers. AJ looking for the outside of Henry Ross here, mate. He's going to try and make the best of this back marker situation. Oh, can't quite do it. Can he hold it down the hill? Ross goes past the back marker, gets closely followed by AJ on the exit there. Ross is forced to keep it really tight. That's going to give AJ a slight advantage. These back markers, of course, having their own personal battle, not really aware that they're getting past. We don't use blue flags here because it gets very confusing at club level. Club races seem to be very confused at the best of times. This time AJ is actually forced to go wider and he stays right on the tail of Henry Ross. So hopefully he's put that in the memory bank for this run. Here he comes, and AJ pushing hard. He's surely going to have a go into Paddock Hill. He's going to go around the outside of two of them. He's going to make it through it with Henry. He can't quite do it. That was so fast, so close. Henry trying to hold it back as well. Up the hill they go, separated by a bike length. Up to the top we go. Does Henry go defensive? Little bit, but AJ can't take advantage. Now we've got some clear track in front of us. This is now the time. How many laps into the race are we, Bradley?
We're on lap number 13, so 5.5 to go.
Okay, they've just cleared that big group of back markers, and by big, I'm talking about half a dozen or so bikes that had to punch their way through. Those guys will be going, what the F? Because these guys have just come slicing through them. Talk about the hot knife through butter treatment, that's for sure. Up the top they go, and again, AJ loses that bike length or two. He's going to fight it straight back. He knows where his strengths are on the track, but unfortunately he's not coming off of that corner onto the front straight here. Now, here we go, over the line. This time they come across, it's a 48.5 and a 48.6, separated again by just under a quarter of a second. We saw a PB from Henry in the first sector that time, so the best time is still out there. We've got a 40, 19, 2, 10, no, I'm not going to do the math, there's too many numbers for my little brain. Down into Graham Hill we go. AJ pushing hard, trying to close the gap, trying to stay in the slipstream, feeds the power in. I think Ross's bike just seems to have a little bit more out of the corner. We're only talking half a bike length or so, but of course these fractions of a second add up. This time AJ's going to get the inside. Can't do it there again. That Ross's line looks like he's leaving his door wide open for a challenge, but actually is working out for him on the exit. Onto the front straight we go. How many laps left when they hit the line this time?
It'll be 4 laps to go, Keith. 4 laps to go as Henry Ross leads AJ across the line. It was by 0.238. It's now by 0.211. And AJ puts in his personal best lap of the race of a 48.408. So it is starting to heat up yet again with just over 4 miles to go.
I'll tell you what, the other thing that could heat up here before the race is over. These guys are just going to be coming out of Graham Hill now. Henry exits as the last of the back markers makes their way out of Surtees. So I think we've got more back marker action to come here.
Oh, somebody coming back into the pits there, Keith, just watching as they go around clearways. We have had a few retirements, unfortunately. That's Jake Marsh and Joe Denny on lap 9 and lap 2.
Yeah, I do apologise to everybody else in the race, but the action at the front has been so exciting and so close. I mean, these two, what is the gap between AJ and the third place man?
It's 9.6. The gap now between the leading two, it was 0.211, it's now by 0.288. Here comes third position, Harrison Crosby, and Sam Hurst is still keeping his fingernails dug into that rear tyre of Harrison Crosby. So the gap between them is 0.6 of a second, and I think Sam Hurst just lost a tenth of a second on that lap. But the race lead is down from Druids in towards Graham Hill Bend now with 2.5 laps to go. And Keith, I'm just having a look here. AJ hasn't won a 600 race here in 2 years.
Well, he seems to definitely want to change that. He got very good drive, went a little bit wide, but kept the power well and truly fed. Here we go. This time AJ goes a little bit higher, does he? Henry's very quick off of the curve there at Clearways. Here we go then. Back marker action coming into it. First back marker is going to get nailed on the front straight there by both of them very safely. What's the gap out a bit further?
0.234. AJ sets the fastest lap of the race, however. 48.368.
Up the hill they go. AJ seems to have lost just a fraction of a second there. Can't take his favourite outside line on the pair of them, but they both forced to go the outside of the back marker. Right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or half a dozen at least back markers. This could well be the tail of the race. AJ just losing out a little bit. He's out to about 10 bike lengths or so. This is as big a gap as we've seen at any point, despite AJ setting his PB last time around there with the fastest first sector. We're not going to be seeing any purple. We are seeing a purple. No, we're not seeing a purple.
No, that was fastest lap of the race last time around.
It's all good. That was a sector time there for a second. Right, here we come then. Over the line, there's going to be just the 1 lap left. The last lap flag goes out. Over the line they go. Henry Ross is over the line by another 0.189. AJ's closed it just a little bit more.
Oh, he got pushed out wider than AJ, and that's giving Henry Ross a little bit of breathing room there. There were 7 back markers for these guys to contend with. Henry Ross goes up the inside of 2 of them, and that means there are 2 back markers in between himself and AJ. I think it's all unravelling now, unfortunately for AJ. He splits the back markers, and goes up the inside of another on the exit of Graham Hill Bend. I think that's Logan Stone in his first MRO600 race. He's having a good ride in 14th position in class, so that'll be points on the board for him. But back with the leaders, and Henry Ross, I think he's got enough here, Keith.
I tell you what, AJ's pushed him hard all the way, but the back marker shuffle has not worked out very well indeed for AJ. We normally see the leader get the advantage in the back marker shuffle. That's certainly the way it's worked out for Henry Ross, but I'm not taking anything away from him. He has ridden absolutely. Look at that, another 3 back markers. I don't think he's realised he's got the checkered flag, actually, has he? Is he still pushing on? I say that because
he's still going, he's still pushing.
Because I think he was also tucked in. I don't think he saw the checkered flag, so let's be careful. Let's don't think they've seen it.
I don't think AJ's seen it either. He's still going on as well.
No,
they're still pushing on.
No, that's AJ. That is not a man who's hanging around on the slowdown lap, that's for sure. I think the checkered flag has gone out. People don't realise it. So it was very, very confusing.
To be fair, with 4 back markers around you, it's...
I mean, the back markers are pretty much spread across the track there. The gap of half a second at the end of the race doesn't really tell the tale of the tape there. So over they come as the red flags go out into the collecting area back there. This time the checkered flag will be seen by all concerned. And Henry Ross might not have noticed it the first time round, nor did AJ. But fair play. That's a fantastic win. Actually, on the screen there with 19 laps, AJ's credited with the win. I'm not quite sure. I think that's just a timing glitch.
Right,
anyway,
quick, take a screenshot.
Yeah. Harrison Crosby there is in 3rd place. Sam Hurst, a very creditable, only by 1/4 of a second, loses out. He's in 4th. Joey Lambden, Kai Dickinson beats the runner-up from last year, Matt Paladin and Michael Bills, good return. Addy Beehall, that's a strong race for Addy there in 9th place, ahead of Gareth Cunningham, isn't it? And Reese Forrest, Will Howard leading Clubman, unsurprisingly, I have to say, and he's beaten the former Clubman winner there, Jack Muir, into 13th place.